Hello, everyone. Welcome to the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates, or UAE, is a country in Western Asia located at the eastern end of the Arabian Peninsula. It borders Oman and Saudi Arabia and has maritime borders in the Persian Gulf with Qatar and Iran. The UAE is an elective monarchy formed from a federation of 7 emirates consisting of Abu Dhabi, where the federal capital, Abu Dhabi, is located, Ajman, Dubai, Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah, Sharjah, and Al Quwain. Each emirate is governed by sheikh, and together they form the Federal Supreme Council. One of them serves as President of the United Arab Emirates. In 2013, the UAE's population was 9.2 million, of which 1.4 million were Emirati citizens and 7.8 million were expatriates. The estimated population in 2020 was 9.89 million. The UAE's oil and natural gas reserves are the 6th and 7th largest in the world, respectively. Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, ruler of Abu Dhabi and the country's first president, oversaw the development of the Emirates by investing oil revenues into healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The UAE's economy is the most diversified of the all members of the Gulf Cooperation Council, while its most populous city, Dubai, is a global city and international hub. The country has become less reliant on oil and gas and is economically focusing on tourism and business. The UAE government does not levy income tax, although there is a corporate tax in place and a 5% value-added tax was established in 2018. The UAE is recognized as a regional and a middle power. The UAE is a member of the United Nations, the Arab League, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Non-Aligned Movement, and the Gulf Cooperation Council. UAE culture and traditions are a huge part of Emirati life. The beauty ritual of painting the hands and feet with henna dye is an important part of the lives of Arabic women here. The women wear henna at any time, but more especially at weddings and special occasions. Getting together for a henna party in the evening is a common social event for Emirati women. Another very important part of UAE culture is falconry, which has been practiced by the Bedouin in the UAE for over 4,000 years. The falcon is the national bird of UAE, symbolizing courage, strong will, determination, grace, and pride. Falconry is one of the country's oldest. The falcon was hunted for food in a land with scarcity of food and resources. Over time, the role of the falcon in traditional Emirati life has evolved from a food source into a respected and valued sport. Falconry's revered status derives from a sense of courage, honor, and nobility, all prize traditional Arab values. Values with links to nature conservation, respect for animals, and camaraderie among falconers. The traditional dress of UAE symbolizes pride and identity and is designed keeping in mind the religious beliefs as well as the comfort of people. It also suits well with hot climatic conditions of UAE and offers excellent protection from the blistering sun and heat. This is the complete traditional male attire in UAE are as follows. Kandura. A long white cloak with full sleeves, the kandura is the main component of the traditional male dress of UAE. They usually have the long loose tassel and no collar. The matching embroidery on the collar and the sleeves is one major feature that differentiates Emirati kandura from other kanduras worn in Arabian Gulf. The second is gutra. Gutra is the Emirati male traditional headdress, which is also identified by different names and notions. It is also a Bedouin-originated fashion accessory and protects men against the sandy winds of deserts and scorching sun rays. Generally, people get confused between the white gutra and red-white embroidered gutra. However, it depends on the individual what to prefer between the two, and thus the choice doesn't represent anything in particular. Next is agal, also spelled as ikal, egal, or egal. The agal is an accessory worn by Emirati men to keep gutra in place on the head. It is a black cord and is worn doubled. There are different varieties of agals that are worn based on social status and different occasions. Next is bisht. Bisht is a dark cloak worn over the kandura by Emirati men. However, occasionally during weddings, festivals, or in the case of prestige by royal and vital figures. They mainly come in darker shades such as black, brown or gray, with cream or beige colored lacy outlining. Men has a classic sandals called naal, which are widely worn by Emirati men. And this is the complete traditional female attire in the UAE. This attire is called abaya. Abaya is the traditional light-fitted, long and full-sleeved robe worn by Emirati women. It is not a dress but the cloak that women use to cover their bodies. Underneath, women can wear clothes according to their choice, even Western wear. The main reason for the abaya to be black-colored is that it purposefully hides the light-colored clothes worn under it without revealing them to the public eye. This is also called hijab. Hijab is the significant component of the Islamic dress code for the Muslim women and also forms an integral part of the traditional dress of UAE for women. It is a veil that is used to cover the head, ears, and neck of women. This term is collectively used to refer to all sorts of headscarves worn by the women in the Gulf. Next is burqa. Burqa is a term which various annotations attached to it. While in Central Asia, this term is primarily used to refer to head-to-toe covering of the Muslim women. But in the Gulf, burqa means a kind of face mask. They are designed to cover a woman's entire face except for the eyes. Widely, burqa is worn by the older generation of Emirati women, and youths are not as much inclined towards this trend of clothing. The official language of the United Arab Emirates is Arabic. Modern Standard Arabic is taught in schools, and most native Emiratis speak a dialect of Gulf Arabic that is generally similar to that spoken in surrounding countries. The people from the UAE thrive on their hospitality. Emiratis are extremely friendly and welcoming people. So when greeting friends, they tend to use fairly long greetings with praises to God, in addition to hugs and kisses. This is how they play their music. This is Ayala dancing. A deep part of UAE culture, Al-Ayala exemplifies the ethos and gallantry of Bedouin life and reinforces the values of dignity and honor. Because it reflects the heritage of Emirati culture, the dance has become a symbol of national identity and union. This is also the one of the traditional music of UAE. Liwa. Liwa is a type of music and dance performed mainly in communities which contain descendants of Bantu peoples from the African Great Lakes region and hybrid Afro-Arab rhythms, such as the Sha'abi, Al-Emirati, and Bandari, remain the standard in both traditional and popular music in this historically. Traditional food in UAE is known as Emirati cuisine, though the city is known for being one of the most popular hubs in the modern world. The traditional food of UAE shares a number of similarities with neighboring countries, including Omani food, Saudi Arabian food, and a few Asian dishes as well. Staples of Emirati cuisine include meat, fish and rice, with lamb and mutton being the more favored meats. Tea and coffee are the preferred beverages, with spices like cardamom, saffron, and mint added to give it a distinctive flavor. These are the UAE traditional food or Emirati dishes. First is rigag, the Emirati crepe as some may call it. It is healthier and made with wheat. They add additional toppings as you like, such as egg and cheese. And this is manakish, a form of flat bread filled with cheese and cooked in an oven. Though this dish is Lebanese, it is popular across Emirati and Arabic restaurants, and many recipes share similarities with other regional cuisines. The flatbread is topped with spices, vegetables, and meats, making it a warm, filling appetizer for the family. Next is makbous. Makbous is a common main course meal that's served in Emirati restaurants and is a rice dish with a variety of meat, vegetables, and spices arranged in layers and slow cooked in an oven. The spice mixes are found in Arabic stores across the region, and the addition of limes gives it a certain tangy flavor. This is popular with citizens as well, with most Emirati restaurants serving variants of this dish. Next is luqaimat. Emirati desserts are quite popular as well, with one local favorite being kunafa. This dessert is a sticky pastry made of sweet cheese that is baked in shredded phyllo dough and soaked in sugar syrup. The dish is quite popular around the Middle East. Luqaimat is quite present around as well, deep-fried dough similar to donuts and drizzled with date syrup. Last thing we will tackle about the United Arab Emirates is their religion. We all know that Islam is the official religion of the United Arab Emirates. In addition to many mosques located throughout the country, there are places of worship available for people to practice different faiths and religions. Thank you for watching and listening my vlog about the United Arab Emirates. Have a good day, everyone.